like movies sniper.
I will destroy them all.
Hello and welcome to The Coordinate, an Attack on Titan podcast. I'm your host for the day, Tyler. And today we're going to be talking about Attack on Titan, the final season, episode 68. And yeah, so this is a much slower paced episode than what we've gotten used to the past couple of weeks with all the huge, Titan fights where we essentially had, all 9 Titans in one place, just going at it. But, it's good. We're back on the island and we're just kind of easing into things, into this episode doesn't really push the story along much, but I think it gives us the breathing room we need. That's what I think. Bill texted me immediately after watching the episode and said, "Ooh boy, this was a shit one." So I don't think it was shit though. I think it's a pretty good episode. So this whole episode is basically constructed. My cats are making a lot of noise in another room. I'm sorry. I gotta go see what that is. What are you doing, Clary? Oh, that was just Claire playing with a toy. Nothing too much to worry about. But yeah, so this episode's basically constructed as Armin is filling in Annie, who's still in her crystal, about what's happened the past couple of years, I think it says 3 years specifically, but the last 3 or 4 years. And it's super cool that we get to see Annie again, sort of. I mean, she's in her crystal, not really doing much, and yeah, she's been there a while. I don't know if we see her in this state at all in the second season, but, if we do, if we don't, we haven't seen her since 2013 in the anime, so that's pretty wild. So the first thing that really happens is we get introduced to our brave volunteers. Fucking cats. So the first thing that really happens is we get introduced to our brave volunteers from Marley. And so, I guess before that we get introduced to some people who were not very brave and or not volunteers. Because we see EREN carry a scout ship aboard, and then they use that to lure over more scout ships, and then Armin just nukes them. So that's pretty cool. We don't get much action in this episode other than that, but those are really cool scenes. I really like seeing EREN lift the ship on his shoulder. He is a strong boy. And Armin, in his colossal Titan form, still looks depressed. Yeah, that sucks for him. But so back to our brave volunteers, we get introduced sort of for the first time. We've seen 2 of them before, but sort of introduced to 2 of them for the first time. Yeah, because we've seen them before, but in order of events, this is the first time they've shown up. So we get Yolana and God, I don't know how to say his name. On Reddit they call him Onion Coupon. Oncoupon is how I say it in my head while reading, but that can't be right. Oh, hey Bill, I feel like you probably have a cool British way to say coupon. What'd that be? I don't want to call him Onion Coupon, but I also want to call Yolana Yolanda. So yeah, we get introduced to them for the first time, and then we also get Niccolo? Yeah, I'm going to say all their names wrong apparently. I don't know, it's fine. So Yolana, we saw her before. She had a fake beard on, and she's the one that drew Peak and Porco into the trap. And so, yeah, I guess she's an interesting character. People seem to like her, but she's never really done it for me in the manga. So I really hope that I see what other people have seen in her and find her interesting in the the anime. And that's happened to me before. I didn't really care much about Commander Magath or really even Falco or Gabby, but I like them a lot more having seen the anime. So she is a follower of Zeke. That's interesting because I don't know. Like, Zeke, from what we know from his past as a kid, he turned in his father for being an Eldian restorationist. And that really kind of set our story in motion a good bit, because without him doing that, his dad would have never went to the wall. And EREN would have never been born, so then we wouldn't have our main character. But yeah, I'm curious if we get to see more in the anime as for why she decided to follow Zeke, because yeah, I don't really get it. Like, he's clearly scheming, but he also kind of seems to be a puppet of Marley. She's probably just a furry, right? Like, he a big sexy monkey, if you into that. So anyways, she has a secret plan of Zeke's that, she reveals to our scout regiment and then eventually to the wider military. So Zeke wants to use EREN's founding Titan powers with his royal blood to activate the rumbling, which is what our good old friend Willie was afraid of to begin with. So he wants to do that in order to restore the Eldian Empire, is what he says. But again, that sounds fishy to me. And so at this point, there's like a whole conference with all the heads of the military. Historia's there, and they're all questioning it. And EREN speaks up, and he's like, "No, this makes sense. Like, it's what else can we do? We're like, we don't have the weapons to compete with the rest of the world. They want to destroy us. They see us as monsters." And he confirms that the one time he was able to use the power of the founding Titan was when he punched that Titan who ate his mom, who he also learned was his dad's ex-wife, who is Zeke's mom. And, she had royal blood, so him touching her did that. And the reason he didn't speak up before is because he was worried that they were going to make Historia turn into a Titan so he could touch her and use the founding Titan powers. So let's back things up. Let's go back to Onion Coupon. He's fine. We see him piloting the airship in the previous episodes, and yeah, he's not a bad character, but again, he's not one that really has stood out to me in the manga, and I'm hoping he does more for me in the anime. We get that one scene where Sasha asks why he has dark skin or something to that effect. And I mean, I guess inside the wall, like, the only just like white person is Mikasa. So yeah, it's a pretty reasonable question. It's funny that Sasha asked it. I feel like that could have also fit Coney's personality because he is the dumb one. But I guess Sasha is more like brash and like socially dumb in that way. But yeah, it's kind of interesting that this happens after Sasha's dead. It's a little bit like Isayama, like, rubbing her face and being racist, which, again, she doesn't understand what race is, so I don't think she could be racist. And so talking about Sasha, I guess that brings us to our third brave volunteer, Nicola, who is a Marley chef, I guess. Maybe I wasn't paying attention very well, but was he just a chef on the ship and they kept him because he could cook well? Anyways, so him and Sasha develop like some kind of relationship. We don't exactly know the extent to it, but it seemed like they could have had romantic feelings for each other. But it's all based on the fact that he loves to cook and she loves to eat. We see her destroying some lobster, which is cool. And then we see him later at her gravesite with, all of Sasha's friends from the scout troops there. And he is obviously very sad and just like can't understand like how this could happen. And then he runs into Sasha's family there, invites them to eat at like his restaurant or whatever. Sasha's dad ensures that, he's not going to have to pay the tab. He's like, this is on the house, right? And one thing to note is that with Sasha's mom and dad, they have a little girl with them, and it is the girl that Sasha saved way back in the first season. So that's cool. They adopted her because her mom got eaten. And I think everyone else in her village. So what else happens in this episode? We already talked about Zeke's plan, but we get to see what Zeke's up to now, and he is being moved to the big forest, that big Titan forest where Levi and his new squad of elite soldiers can really keep an eye on him. He's, they can use their ODM gear in the trees, and yeah. Oh, I guess one thing to point out is that we have confirmation that they have killed all of the Titans outside the wall. That comes up when Yelena is talking to Hanji and Levi about, she's going over the modern world tech, telling them about the outside world and about what Marley has done to them as far as stealing their people, conquering their people and making them join the military. And what was I talking about? I'm sorry, my cat distracted me. He's picking at something on the floor and it was annoying. Oh yeah, Zeke in the forest. See, yeah, it came up that they killed all the Titans because they're like, hey, if we're all the way out here, that must mean that you're not very worried about those Titans. And she mentions that the Titans were initially put there to keep the people in the wall, within the wall. But then they also ended up protecting them because people from Marley could not get to the wall. But then 3 kids got there. So how hard could it have been, really? I know they had Titan powers, but is that really all that happened this episode? I feel like I'm missing something. Yeah, I guess that's it. We get to the end of the episode, and Armin's wrapping up his story, and we see that, oh, it's Annie. Oh my God, it's Annie. Oh my God, it's Annie. Which is cool, but it's Annie. That's cool. They could have showed us that at the beginning, and it would have still been cool. And then I believe we have Mikasa being at Sasha's grave talking about having to fight. And then Eren's looking in the mirror, doing his hair into a man bun, shirtless, 8-pack showing, and he's banging his chest and saying, fight. Fight. And this is where I have a question for you, Bill. Do you think Eren is sexy now? People love Eren with the man bun. They weren't crazy about hobo Eren. But man bun Eren is where it's at. And in the manga, I kind of see it in this scene, I guess. But to me, in this scene, his eyes are dead, and he just looks kind of gross. He looks like he needs to wash. But I think he is in prison at the moment. I'm pretty sure they have him. He's once again, in some kind of military prison being held. How many times has this happened to Eren? I think it happens 2 or 3 times in the first season. He's constantly being in chains, which I guess one of Eren's big things is, freedom. So seeing him physically represented in chains, that makes sense. Yeah, Bill. So I would like you to, every time we see Eren go through some kind of clothes change, just some kind of design change, I want you to let me know if he is sexy, unless he's below 18 in that scene. You don't have to let me know if child Eren is sexy. Maybe for our friendship, don't let me know if you think child Eren is sexy, Bill. But yeah, that's all I got for you this week. I feel like I probably forgot to talk about some stuff. I normally have time to write out my thoughts and really think what my thoughts are gonna be, but I'm recording this 4 hours before it comes out, and it comes out at 5 a.m. So, and I have to go to work. So I'm doing the best I can. My kid would not go to sleep tonight. A new chapter of the manga just came out, and I was going to give you my thoughts on that after this musical bit, but I have not really had time to process my thoughts on that. So, I might tack on something to the end of Bill's episode next week, or, maybe I'll do something at the end of my episode the following week. I don't really know. Ooh, next week, Bill gets to talk about episode 69, He'll like that. He'll definitely have a 69 joke for you. A good one. He's not just going to say nice a lot during that episode. It's going to be something quality. But yeah, that's it. So, until next week, do not get eaten if you can avoid it. I don't know why I said it that way. I'm weird. Just don't get eaten.
Calling all podcasters. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you a special bulletin. This is Raymond Burr reporting live from the We Can Make This Work, Probably Podcast Network, regarding the latest season of Podcasters Assemble. We are receiving reports of, what can only be described as a gigantic ape rampaging through the streets of New York City, and I'm being told it is now scaling the Empire State Building. Preposterous. Wait, this just in. According to our overseas correspondents, there's been a confirmed sighting of a massive reptilian creature off the coast of Japan. Scientists are speculating this could be the very same species that first wreaked havoc on Tokyo back in 1954. Oh, the humanity! If you have any information regarding these two Goliath monsters or their film franchises, please record on your dictaphone and post or telegraph your audio transmission to us at probablywork.com. Over the next several weeks, we will be reviewing some of the biggest films in kaiju cinema. 1933's classic King Kong, the original Godzilla from 1954, the controversial 1998's Godzilla, Peter Jackson's 2005 King Kong, as well as the Legendary Pictures movies Godzilla, Kong Skull Island, and Godzilla King of the Monsters, leading up to this year's release of Godzilla vs. Kong on March 26, 2021. Please hurry. Time is running out. We've just been told that the mayor is evacuating the city and the president dispatching military forces. It appears that the monster known as Gojira is now making his way to shore and... I don't know how to describe what I'm looking at, dear listeners, but this dinosaur-like creature is actually approaching what the tabloids have dubbed Kong, the eighth wonder of the world. The gorilla is snaring its teeth and banging on its chest in what seems to be, a show of strength, defending its territory. They appear to be squaring off. Jeez. This is it, people. The battle of the century. It's Godzilla versus Kong. A fire-breathing lizard takes on the giant angry ape. In this, a no-holds-barred clash between the king of the monsters and the titan of Skull Island. Who will come out on top? Why are they fighting? How did that monkey get so big? Will we survive to find out? Find out on the latest season of Podcasters Assemble, Kongzillathon!
This has been a presentation
of the We Can Make This Work
Probably Network.
Follow us on Twitter
at Probably Work
for more of our questionable content.
Also, we have a website called probablywork.com.